Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today is Tuesday, March 31st, 2020, Sha'ban 6th, 1441. The story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. Today our lesson is about the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam.
Many prophets to spread the message of Islam. The Quran is a guide for all of Allah's followers, and in the Quran there are 25 prophets mentioned. One of these is Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, and today I'm going to tell you his story. In the town of Nineveh, the townspeople worshipped idols and they lived immoral lives. Prophet Yunus alayhi salam was sent by Allah to this town where they had forgotten the right path of life, but the people didn't like him interfering with their way of life. Prophet Yunus tried long and hard to change their ways so that they only worship Allah. He warned them that otherwise a severe punishment would come upon them, but they didn't listen. Sad and angrily, Prophet Yunus left the town, and he headed towards the port to board a ship. The ship hadn't reached when the town skies began to change dangerously to the color of fire. The townspeople fled to the mountains for safety and sincerely asked for forgiveness from Allah. Allah removed his wrath, accepting their prayers because they also prayed for the return of their beloved prophet to once again guide them to the right path. However, Prophet Yunus had already boarded the ship when a thundering storm came about the first night, damaging the ship. In those days, the captain would pick a name to throw overboard the ship just to lighten the load. So when the captain picked Prophet Yunus's name, the others thought they should pick again, because he was the most honourable man of all of them. However, twice more his name was picked, and Prophet Yunus had no choice but to jump. Prophet Yunus was struggling in the wild wave, and suddenly a great whale appeared and swallowed him. Prophet Yunus found himself inside this big fish, but he'd been saved by Allah. He realized he'd been wrong to leave Nineveh so soon, and he prayed for his forgiveness. As per Allah's wish, the whale swam close to the beach, where he exited the whale safely. Prophet Yunus then returned to his people, where he began once again to teach and guide the people of Nineveh.
So as you listen in the video that I show you, a very long time ago in the city of Nineveh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a prophet. His name was Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, to guide the people of Nineveh. The people of Nineveh, they were very rich and they had everything they needed in their life. So they refused to listen to Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. Prophet Yunus alayhi salam told them how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they would not listen to him, and instead of worshipping Allah, they used to worship idols made of wood and clay. So that the idols that they used to make by themselves, they used to worship those things, right, instead of Allah. So finally, when they refused to change, themselves, then Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, he was very upset with them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Prophet Yunus alayhi salam that he would send a punishment on the people of Nineveh. And then Prophet Yunus warned the people of Nineveh and told them that if you don't worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will send a punishment. But instead of listening to Prophet Yunus, they started laughing, right? So the Prophet Yusuf became very upset with them, and what he did, he left the town. He said, I will go somewhere far away from these people because they are not listening to me. So he went to far away, there was a ship, and he went inside the ship to go to another land, to go to another city. And the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't want Prophet Yunus to leave his people, right? So Prophet Yunus left the people without asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as soon as he reached inside the ship in the middle of the sea, there was a terrible storm. A very strong winds blew and huge waves began hitting the ship. So everyone was very afraid that they would drown. Now Prophet Yunus, in this situation, he realized that he made a mistake. He understood, he's a prophet of Allah, right? He has a very close relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he understood that this is a punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he shouldn't leave his people, right? So he told the people in the ship that you can throw me in the water. They said no, they refused to do it, but then finally they threw Prophet Yunus inside the sea. And on that time, suddenly a big whale came up and swallowed Prophet Yunus alayhi salam alive. So as you can see in the picture, once they threw Prophet Yunus from the ship, a big whale came, opened his mouth and swallowed Prophet Yunus alayhi salam alive. Now Prophet Yunus alayhi salam is inside the belly of the whale. It's very dark, it's very lonely, so he feels lonely inside the stomach of the fish, and that's the time that he knows that he can start talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? He knows that Allah is with him. So he started praying and talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inside the stomach of the whale. He was there for 3 days, and in these 3 days he used to talk the whole time with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praying and asking for forgiveness. There is a tasbih, it's called tasbih of Yunusiyah. This sentence, this dua that I'm reciting now, it's called the tasbih of Yunusiyah. That's what Prophet Yunus was reciting and asking Allah for forgiveness. He was saying that La ilaha illa ant subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. La ilaha illa ant subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. The meaning, the translation is there is no God but Allah. La ilaha illallah means there is no God but Allah. Glory be to him. Surely I was from the wrongdoers. Subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin means that glory be to him. Surely I was from the wrongdoers. So he used to recite this tasbih and saying astaghfirullah and I'm sorry, asking for forgiveness. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loved the tasbih of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, and the big fish went near the seashore and threw Prophet Yunus alayhi salam out and left him on the beach. So whenever we are in trouble, just I want to say this about the tasbih of Yunusiyah, you can recite this tasbih. You can memorize, you can practice the tasbih of Yunusiyah, and whenever you need help, you can recite this. It's very easy. La ilaha illa ant subhanaka inni kuntu min al-zalimin. In the next picture I wrote this tasbih for you, so you can read it from the picture and you can memorize it, okay? So in the meantime, when Prophet Yunus was in the stomach of the fish and then he was asking for forgiveness, let's see what happened to the people of Nineveh, right? So the people of Nineveh saw some dark and black clouds coming towards them, because Prophet Yunus told them that Allah will send a punishment. And they knew that this is a punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to send them. They were all scared and decided to say sorry to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to ask him for forgiveness. So all the men and women and children, all of them went out of their homes and gathered together under the open sky and began praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were saying astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu ilay, astaghfirullah rabbi wa atubu ilay, and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. And Allah, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very kind and loving, right? He loves all the people, and whoever says sorry, of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave them. The black clouds went away. The people were very happy to see that there is no punishment for them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted their astaghfar and their sorry. So they became very but suddenly they just felt that they missed Prophet Yunus, right? Because they knew that Prophet Yunus was their prophet, but they didn't listen to him. So suddenly they just felt that they really missed Prophet Yunus. And so they remembered Prophet Yunus. So when Prophet Yunus alayhi salam came out of the belly of the fish, now let's go back to the seashore where Prophet Yunus is there, right? When he came out of the belly of the fish, he was very tired, he was weak, sick, because he was there for 3 days, right? Without food, without water. So he just sat on a beach helplessly, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking care of Prophet Yunus, right? Because he accepted his apologies. So Allah made a tree grow near him that gave him shade and some delicious fruits to make him strong and healthy. So finally Prophet Yunus alayhi salam was strong enough to walk again, and he decided to go back to Nineveh, to his people. When the people of Nineveh, because they missed Prophet Yunus, the moment they saw Prophet Yunus, they could not believe their eyes. They were so happy. They went around Prophet Yunus, they hugged him, and they said sorry, and they started talking about the punishment that Allah sent them and what happened. And also Prophet Yunus told them about the miracle and how a big fish swallowed him and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him. So they shared their story. They said about their punishment, and Prophet Yunus said about what happened and Allah's miracle that he was inside the stomach of the fish for 3 days and all these. So they were all happy together, and they all together they said they all thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his kindness and his love. So from then on, they all listened to whatever Prophet Yunus alayhi salam told them to do. They all believed in Allah and worshipped him, the people of Nineveh, and they decided never to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again. Right? So from the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam, we can learn. So what did you learn about Prophet Yunus, right? So just remember the story of Prophet Yunus that I just shared with you, and we can say the points about the story and what we can learn from the story, right? So we learned from the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam and people of Nineveh that it is important to be patient and always try to guide people towards Allah, right? And we should never lose hope in Allah's mercy. Even if we are in dark belly of a fish under the sea, or even when we see black clouds of danger, if we ask Allah for forgiveness, even at the last minute, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive us because He loves us very much, right? So we can learn one lesson we can learn is we have to make sure that we don't lose our hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also we have to be patient, and especially when people are not listening to us, we have to be patient, right? And if we do something bad, we should always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, right? So the two things that I want you to really learn from the story is, one, about patience. See how to be patient. You have to be patient all the time. And the other thing is about ask for forgiveness. Whenever we do a mistake, say sorry, right? So let's do an activity to help us learn about forgiveness. You can do this activity at home with your parents, okay, or you can ask older siblings to help you. This is the tasbih of Yunusiyya that I told you. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. La ilaha illa ant subhanaka inni kuntu minal zalimin. Okay, and this is the verse of Quran. So you can memorize this tasbih of Yunusiyya, and then you can complete this activity. So you can make a whale using some recycle items. You can fill it with water, and then you can make a action figure and put something heavy under the feet of the your action figure so that figure can stay under the water. And then you can recite the tasbih of Yunusiyya, and you can pour the water out of the whale, and then finally you can see the action figure that you put inside. This way you will learn about forgiveness, right? And remember that Prophet Yunus recited the tasbih of Yunusiyya, and he said sorry more than one time, right? So sometimes we say only one sorry and we think that it should be fine, right? But we should say more astaghfar, we should say more sorry, okay? So, and one page you have in your workbook, page 95 and 96, It's all coloring about the story of Prophet Yunus. When you're coloring, you will be remembering the different scene from the story of Prophet Yunus alayhi salam. That's it for today. Take care of yourself and fi aman Allah.